Welcome. This is the Collins Software's compiler maker. This is the Jane compiler being worked on. Right now I'm in the stage of having the application, the compiler, create an application that runs across multiple machines simultaneously so that I can run part of the Jane application, one application, in a browser or in an executable and have it communicate and run functions locally or on remote machines. And it can send back applications, data, and functions to run locally. So it's a two-way communication. Basically, you're splitting your application up, your executable, and running it across multiple machines. But I came across a major problem, which was, how do I send the data over there? I mean, there were so many variations that we have now. I said, look, I'm going to throw it all away, and we'll just create a text format that I don't have to convert. When I sent the data over, I said, okay, if I send it in JSON or something like that, I got to parse the thing out. I got to build some substructure, restructure it. And I said, I don't want to do that. I just want to be able to get the data out of that structure, out of that text structure. So I designed what I call a text value. So we'll look at this. This text value, and I call it a value because it's going to retain basically all the same characteristics that JavaScript does. So the data type, if it's an object, all the functions that are attached, the source code to those functions, and everything else. A simple example of an object. I just create a standard JavaScript object. And let's assume we want to send this somewhere. Then I come in here and I take that object or that value and I just say it's a text value and it'll convert it to a text value. Here I'm going to list out that text value as the internal format. And here I take one, I can now use this text format and query it. So here I have A is my text object, and now I can go get name. So it's not converting it to an object, it's actually going into the text itself, searching it and pulling out that text and formatting it as specified and building all the substructure that it needs to represent it exactly like JavaScript does. So let's run this quickly. And here's the original object, age. This is just standard JavaScript object. Here is that text value in my internal format. And basically it's designed so that a very small footprint to parse and build this application on any machine. So I can do that in Assembler or C++ or any environment that I want to in very few lines. And now I don't have to, here's an object. If I need to use it, I have to go in and reformat it and structure it, and I don't have to do that now. And actually, I think I'll probably move more toward this because now I don't have to convert things in and out of all these structures to use it. And if I index this, it's just text. Internally, I could index it, and it would be as fast as if I did convert it to an internal binary memory. But anyway, here's the representation. This is the representation of it. I change all my dates to a standard format, and then depending on the system you're on, it will convert it to whatever structure you need. And this, just looking at date, the grave accent, I use the grave character. We don't use it for hardly anything. And then it says, just to look at the internals of it, the /O says this is an object. A grave N is a name, a V is a value. Here's a name, age, B is a value, N is a date, B is the value, and then T is the type. So here's the data type, and then N, and here's car with a value of object, and so on. So what we're able to do is use control characters that we're not using anyway. Structure, and this is extremely fast. I don't have to parse anything. I don't have to look at it. Anyway, I do some internal things. So even if you have those in your code, the system handles all of that for you. So it doesn't matter what you stick in your object. It can be other more code like this, and it still will work properly. So if we look at this, so here we look at A is that text object, text value, and then I can just go in and query it like I do just any other object or value and use it the same way. Anyway, once I get this fully functional, I'm going to get this where I can also update the values so that even though it's in text, I can change the value. I can say, look, I want to change the date. Let the system do that. It can do that. It'll do search. We can put in prototypes and everything else in there, and it will follow that same logic that we do with JavaScript or any other programming languages. All right, that's the latest addition to the compiler. This works really nice for me. I can eliminate a lot of these conversions, and it's absolutely required. It was going to take me months to try and get everything fixed. I just said I'm going to throw everything away and start over, and so this took like a day or two to implement. But now I can safely create my applications across multiple machines.